Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Little Chapel of Faith. My name is Tina. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. We have platforms on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. If you're on any of those or all of those, please like, subscribe, and share. We are here with readings from Diary of Saint Faustina. We do have a playlist on YouTube with the readings thus far, so if you missed them and you want to catch up, you can go and check them out. But if not, we are on page 306, number 767. My communion with the Lord is now purely spiritual. My soul is touched by God and wholly absorbs itself in Him, even to the complete forgetfulness of self. Permeated by God so at its very depths, it drowns in His beauty. It completely dissolves in Him. I'm at a loss to describe this because in writing I am making use of the senses. But here, in the union, the senses are not active. There is a merging of God and soul, and the life of God to which the soul is admitted is so great that the human tongue cannot express it. When the soul returns to its habitual form of life, it then sees that this life is darkness and mist and dreamlike confusion, as infants swaddling clothes. In such moments, the soul only receives God for itself. It does nothing. It does not make even the slightest effort. All in her is wrought by God. But when the soul returns to its ordinary state, it sees that it is not within its power to continue this union. These moments are short, but their effects are lasting. The soul cannot remain long in this state, or else it would be forcibly freed of the bonds of the body forever. Even as it is sustained by a miracle of God. God allows the soul to know in a clear way how much He loves it, as though it were the only object of His delight. The soul recognizes this clearly and without a veil, so to speak. It reaches out for God with all its might, but it feels like a baby. It knows that it is not within its power. Therefore, God descends to the soul and unites it to Himself in a way that here I must be silent, for I cannot describe what the soul experiences. It is a strange thing that although the soul which experiences this union with God cannot find words and expresses to describe it, nevertheless, when it meets a similar soul, the two understand each other extraordinarily well in regard to these matters, even though they speak but little with each other. A soul united with God this way easily recognizes a similar soul, even if the latter has not revealed its interior but it merely speaks to an ordinary way. It is a kind of spiritual kinship. Souls united with God in this way are very fewer than we think. I have noticed that the Lord grants this grace to souls for two purposes. The first is that the soul is to do some great work which is, humanly speaking, absolutely beyond its power. In the second case, I have noticed that the Lord grants it in order, that kindred souls might be guided and set in a peace, although the Lord can grant this grace as He pleases to whomever He pleases. However, I have noticed this grace in 3 priests, one of whom is a secular priest, probably Father Sabochko, and the other 2 religious priests, probably Father Elter and Father Andras, and also in 2 religious sisters, probably Mother Michael and Sister Mary Joseph, but not in the same degree. As for myself, I received the grace for the first time, that only for a brief moment in the 18th year of my life, with the octave of Corpus Christi, June 18th, 1925, during Vespers, which I made to the Lord Jesus the vow of perpetual chastity. I was still living in the world, but I entered the convent soon afterwards. The grace lasted in a very brief moment, but its power is great. After this grace, there was a long interval. It is true that I received many graces from the Lord during this interval, but they were of very different order. It was a time of trials and purification. The trials were so painful that my soul felt as though it was being totally abandoned by God, and it was steeped in profound darkness. I became aware and understood that no one would be able to bring me out of the torments or even understand me. There were 2 occasions when my soul was plunged into despair, once for an hour, and second time for 3/4 of an hour. Just as I cannot describe the greatness of the graces, so too were these ordeals sent by the Lord. Whatever works I might use, they are only a pale shadow of the reality. However, Just as the Lord plunged me into the torments, so too he brought me out of them. Only this lasted for a few years, after which I again received the extraordinary grace of union, which was continued to this day. Still, during the second period of union, there also have been short interruptions, but for some time now I have not experienced any interruption at all. On the contrary, I am more and more deeply steeped in God. The great light which illuminates my mind gives me a knowledge of the greatness of God, but it is not as if I were getting to know the individual attributes as before. No, it is different now. In one moment, I come to know the entire essence of God. I'm going to leave that there for today. We'll be back tomorrow for more. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Be well, be safe, be kind to each other. God bless us all.